Hey y'all, it's a podcast called Fresh.
It's me, it's MAP. Yo, what up? It's your boy, Miles Amadeus Prower here with another episode of a podcast called Fresh. Now, we don't have my man Kelen here today. I know, don't bug out, but I'd be lying if I said I had the next best thing because I believe it's better. I've one of the few people who I would consider someone I would call a friend, my homie, Andrea.
What up, though? How are you guys? My name's Andrea. I live in Detroit, Michigan. I'm an avid anime fan. I used to be big into games, not anymore.
Yeah, so you're not in the games as much anymore?
Not as much as I used to be when I was younger. Like, I have so many games I have not played. It's just a matter, like, I'm just not focused as I used to be. It happens, though. You know, life. Get older.
Oh, you got one of those things called a life? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I feel your responsibilities, they suck. But one thing I can say, which is kind of cool about my homie here, Doc, is that she is an avid lover of Sailor Moon. And she's put me up on some stuff I didn't know. And because of her now, my daughters are massively into Sailor Moon and stuff, which I think is cool. And I think also it's funny because they go to school and they come back freaking out that no one knows about the Sailor Scouts. And she's like, what is wrong with them? Well, baby, you're about almost 15, 20 years too late. But Doc knows about them. I'm like, yeah, but it's no one in your age group will ever like, well, can we buy the toys? Nah, you can't go to Toys R Us and get those.
No, not anymore. Yeah, they're right there many, many years too late.
Well, besides Sailor Moon, do you have any favorite other animes that you're currently into?
Right now, I was checking out the most recent, I guess, popular anime. Was it Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba? That's pretty popular right now. I hate the 3D puppets in there because you can see them; they're so noticeable. It's hideous, but it's got a decent flow to it. It's starting to pick up a little bit. I just read recently they just announced like a movie for it. And apparently the movie comes right after the last episode of the season. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't gotten there yet. And that's messed up. It's only like 26 episodes so far. I'm so mad about that. But it's pretty decent. I would give it a fair grade, like maybe a B- so far.
Really? That's all?
Yeah, B-. I mean, it's a typical shonen anime, you know. It starts with like a lot of
I've been meaning to get into that.
It's okay. If I had to rate it, it's like it has like a same feel as My Hero Academia a little bit, just a little bit. But general, something horrible happens.
Oh man, don't get me started on that.
You don't like it or do like it?
Oh, I love it. I hate that I love it so much. I hate that All Might is such a good hero and he like makes you believe in him.
Yes.
Just like the whole Deku thing just had me in my feels, and then I'm about to have a son. So yeah, I love that anime. I hate it that I love it so much, but yeah, it's like cheesy, but it's awesome.
I would say it's more refreshing than anything to me. Like when you first initially start watching, you think like, oh wow, this is kind of like typical cheesy, is lame, like you say. But when you really start getting into it, it's like, oh wow, these kids, like I'm with these kids. Like yes, I want them to achieve their goals. I want them to be somebody. This is awesome. It gets you in there.
Yeah. It's like I'm mad. They're making me believe in them. Have you seen the movie?
I have not seen any of the movies yet, no. I'm like behind on a lot of stuff. I was waiting for the most recent season to come, like the next season's coming out, and I'm waiting for it so I can finish catching up. I like to watch everything at once, and I don't want to get to the end like I did with Overlord and be mad that there's no other season.
Well, shoot, if you ever come back again, we can review season. What you want to say, season 1, or we can review because I think I know somebody who got season 2. I want to say 2 and 3, I want to say, but I want to definitely know 2 because the movie, oh man, the movie was so good. At the end, it just had this part where him and Deku and All Might were running, and like they were running synced up. Oh
Spoilers,
man, it was just so sick.
I'm kind of mad. I wanted to see it in the theater, but like nowhere around me. It's all right though. I know. Stay off the internet for certain things. I know where to find it. I'm sure I can find it somewhere. It won't be dubbed, but I can live with that. I actually watch it all subbed anyway.
You can get it dubbed.
It's good.
You can get it dubbed. I keep it real. Since I've had so many kids, I only watch stuff dubbed now, and I hate to say it because I don't have the time to read. So like most of the stuff I watch now, majority of it is dubbed. I can tell you, I know, how to get it, quote unquote.
I mean, the only reason I would do a dub anime is like you say, if I don't have time to read the subs, or if I'm doing something else and it's not like something I really want to watch, and I just want to listen to it. That's mostly the stuff I repeat, like stuff I watch over.
And My Hero has good dubs, though.
I don't think I've heard it dubbed, to be honest. I think I started out watching only subs. Because they have a whole thing on Hulu, so it's up to season 3.
Gasp.
I wait for season 4. Yeah, it's all on Hulu.
Oh, so you're caught up then. Yeah, you're caught up then.
More or less, I stopped at like I'm in season 3, but I stopped watching it because I was waiting for the next season to come out, so I could finish season 3 because season 4 is on the way.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. But I guess on to the next part because we talked more. Well, I can't say we talked more anime than I wanted to. That was always the plan. One of the things we are reviewing today is a comic called Isola, which I think is pretty great. Its story is by Brendan Fletcher and Carl Kerschel. I think I said that the right way. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name. Carl Kerschel also does the art, and as well as someone by the name of Miss Sayak. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sorry. And the letterer is Adita Bidikar. I'm just butchering your names. I'm sorry, you guys, but it's a pretty good comic. I think it is. It's from Image. And I asked Doc if she wanted to review it, and she was all for it. And here we are. So I guess initially, what were your first thoughts upon just checking out the comic?
All right. Initially, I thought the drawings were really, really pretty. I read the prologue first, and I thought that was it from that part, but you showed me the rest of it. And the art was really nice. The colors are very vivid. They're very eye-catching. The scenery is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Characters are pretty cool to look at, too. As for the story itself, like it's the initial opening of it, because it kind of just throws you in there. You have no idea what's going on. I don't know if that's a really good thing per se, especially coming to as a new reader, unfamiliar with any of the work. It takes a minute to even figure out what's going on, thanks to a few flashbacks, but it takes a long time to get to the flashbacks. So you have them just in this fantasy world, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know how the queen ended up the way she ended up. It's just I don't know if that was really, really a good thing for me, because I feel like I got a little bored, kind of figure out what was going on. Just as me, I got a little bored reading it.
Yeah, I feel you, because it's the art is great. The colors, it just grabs you and it makes you want to look at it. But it's I first playing the whole play to catch up, I'm putting you in the story, works sometimes, but you have to give the information. You have to get just and as much as I love this story, I'm not saying anything. I don't want to say anything negative about it, but in the beginning, it's what are we doing? Okay, the queen is a tiger. We see we're in a mythical place. What's going on now? If I'm thinking they have a whole bunch of story coming, and if they do, that's cool. But either they're writing a check that's going to be bigger than we all know, or they're just going to just fall flat because it's a lot that has to. Like you said, you get bored reading it. It's it was a challenge at some point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
you're correct. Like I said, I want to say more so it's a lack of story. It's a lot of visuals, but a lack of story. At one point where that I felt they could have probably cut all together kind of and just closed it all to another comic was the part where she went to raid their own people to get supplies.
Yeah.
It's 7 or 8 or something like that. And the whole thing was mostly pictures. And when you finally get to the point where there's dialogue, it's the end. It's what has happened here? I don't understand. Okay, she got the map. I got that. Then what happens? Then it's the end. It's okay, well, that could have been cut down to I don't know. That a lot of visuals, but no story. That's what I would put it that way.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And we're gonna say some more about that in a minute, but we gotta take y'all to break. We'll be back in 1 second. Peace out.
Sound advice or whatever. It's comics, conventions, and cosplay or whatever. It's ladies' night or whatever. It's wrestling or whatever. It's like parenting, or whatever. It's like anime, or whatever. It's like spiritual warfare, or whatever. It's like great friends, awesome people, coming around doing what we do best, or whatever. You should watch, listen, and follow, or whatever. It's like a podcast, or whatever.
We do it for the culture, not the vultures. It's a podcast called Fresh.
And we are back. Podcast called Fresh. It's your boy Maps, co-host for the episode, Andrea Connors. Now, we were talking about the comic from Image called Isola. And basically, we were just saying that it's just, I feel that it's trying to, like, be on, I don't know, I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because I really, I like the fact that the queen is black. I like the fact there's a lot of little ethnic representation in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. There are quite a few.
I like that, and they're not making a big deal about it.
There's a lot of variety there. It gives you a lot of people. You don't know how they got together this way. You don't know how the world ended up this way. But yeah, it's a lot of blended people there. It's a fantastic diversity. Yeah,
and it's like, you know, and just I feel that like it's almost like I wish it had spinoffs so it could tell other stuff that happens, because it's like for the most part, it's like it's giving you information. It's like, okay, even when that big bird died, okay, I get the fact is it was a part in the story, y'all. And of course, always spoiler. It's a part where this big bird dies. It's a god. They don't really get into the nature of it, the backstory. Oh, it's a god that died. These animals are eating it. Okay, we keep going. Later on, the bird, another one of them pops up in the sky. They don't go into any more of the story about anything. And it's like, I'm thinking maybe it's like One Piece. A manga I know Doc doesn't like it because it goes on forever.
You're correct. I cannot stand long stories. Like, get it done. Get to the point already.
Yeah. And sometimes, like with some stuff, it takes time to pick up. I totally get it. And if that's what this is trying to do, I am 100% with it. But in the same sense, because it's like, it gives you nothing while piquing your interest in the same time. Like, okay, I don't know what happened. You have to read, and then you have to read the prologue or whatever, and it kind of goes into what happened, but it still doesn't tell you, like, hey, why because I guess her brother, the queen's brother, did something and turned her into a tiger. They don't really tell you why. And then they get to a part, with this other guy, I guess, what's his name? Moro, the old guy. He's trying to take her to someplace. And it's like, it's almost like they drew all these pictures and then just tried to come up with a story to move stuff along, or maybe it's just too early. I don't know. But I think one thing is it seems like a plug for like a Netflix series.
Maybe, perhaps. And if so, then they really need to come with some, like, a lot more story for sure. Because I agree, when you get to the part with Moro, I thought he was, like, he knew her, like he was a part of her crew or whatever. And then when you find out, like, oh no, he's just a guy that's a part of this, like, tribe that's into, like, this weird, spoiler again, it's into, like, animal splicing. Like, I thought they were, like, were people. It's like, okay, this is, like, you know, werewolves and stuff. This is kind of cool. Then you realize, no, what they're doing is, like, whenever something happens, they just replace their body parts with animal parts. And it's like, okay, well, that's weird. And they thought the queen was, like what they were looking for, like, what they called an in-between, which is, like, I guess, a were-creature. They thought she was, like, a person that became a spirit animal. That's what they were looking for. And then when they realized she wasn't, they had to go. It's like a weird thing. And that's when you find out more of the story too, is when she actually gets to those people, because she starts, the soldier, what's her name? Rook. She starts having visions with them. It's like, okay, I'm starting to see what's happening. That's how the queen got to this point. This is why they're on a journey. They're trying to find her brother in the spirit world so he could turn her back to normal. That's what I'm getting from it so far. That's kind of the thing I got from it. Also, I think it's kudos to just because it's not really the dialogue that shows you the relationship between the queen and Rook, but I'm assuming they're in love. Yeah.
And kudos to them for the subtle, just the nuances to that, and as much as I hate to say it, the quiet dignity they give to the tiger. Cause it's like you can tell just by looking at the tiger, like, nah, we're not going this way. Nah, we shouldn't do that. And it's really cool how they convey that, you know, real subtly. And I like that. But like you were saying, as far as the plot, and there was a lot of parts that I wish they could have expounded on, like when they got to the part where they had, I guess, the god or whatever the thing was. It was this part where this being was in this chair and like half of his head was like a deer type horse thing and it looked like it was dead. And they were trying to do something to the queen. You know, we spoil stuff, but we leave, you know, gaps. And I thought it was dead. Then all of a sudden something happened and I saw the fox and he started yelling and you got to get out of here. And I'm thinking like that, if it was a manga, this is a whole, you can do an arc just right here. I was interested about the whole thing. Or even when they got to the part with the were-people, which, okay, I admit they did. That was the good part. When they got to the meat and potatoes of the were-people. When they had to fight the people, and then the wolf girl saved Rook from that guy who was trying to not take no for an answer.
Yeah, that was a pretty good introduction, which makes you think like, okay, yeah, these are like were-people, like awesome. We got werewolves and stuff because the girl when they were finally reveal her hands, she has like the wolf claws. It's like, okay, cool. Like, but then you find out later on that's not really what's going on. It's like, okay, you know, these are just some like strange people that are just like chopping animals up and reconstructing themselves. It's weird. But it's like I said, visually, it's a very impacting story. Like, I really want to know. I want to know more. What's happening?
Yeah, I do too. I definitely want to know more. And it's like that part. I'm thinking if you're setting that up to be something that comes back in the future, because I thought that, you know, to be a problem or something to help him, because I thought it was cool how, like you said, the wolf girl didn't bother Rook because she tried to feed her. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. That came back. Then they got a part later on in the story where they meet this witch or whatever. And I thought that was a very interesting part. Like, I wish it could have kind of went on more because it was dope because the witch pretty much split up, Rook and the queen. And then I thought it was just, I was mad that when they kicked the queen out, I actually felt sorry for her.
Yes, the crazy woman they met this, yeah. And coming to find out she was the one that was, like stealing the kids from the village. Which was crazy. Like, I don't know what kind of spell she had, like what kind of spell she put over him. They really go into it. But that was pretty deep. Yeah, she did come right between them. She split them apart.
and that was cool.
Showing that their bond can be kind of disrupted, you know, if they're not really paying attention. But I don't know. Like I say, I hope.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm bad. No, I was just saying, basically, I just thought that was cool. It was kind of, you know, just something different how she came in, and that's something they could have expanded on. And I think it's maybe they're setting up plot points for things to go on later because even though, I'm sorry, let me go. But as you were saying, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
What I was trying to say is, you're right. Like, hopefully they come back to her because they didn't really stop her per se. They, I guess her mother came back for her. And I don't know if she killed her mom. They didn't really, it was really vague. That whole section was just like super vague. I don't know if she killed her mother or what. I don't know what happened there. But, hopefully, like you say, is it enough to keep me reading? That's what I'm thinking into. Like, is it enough to keep you wanting to read? I don't know. Like I say, it's so slow. I would rather be like, I treat it like an anime series. I wait for it to build up more. I wouldn't want to keep going out for more issues if it's going to be this slow.
Yeah. I feel you on that. And if what you said earlier, I don't know exactly what she did to her mother either. All I know is she took a knife to her and ate something. That we know for sure. But I think now it's starting to pick up. It's starting to get interesting. But like you were saying, I would treat it like a manga and just I'd give it 2 years and then just come back and binge a whole bunch of it. But don't get it twisted. The art is gorgeous. I love it. The pictures and like the paint, whoever did all the coloring, man, mwah, hats off to you because that junk is nice.
Indeed, yes, it's very gorgeous. It's very beautiful. They just need more story.
Give us more story, for real. And I'm thinking, like, between Rook and the Queen, and even as a tiger, you couldn't, like, work out a tap, like, two taps, yes, one tap, no system, or something for communicating. I mean, like, one meow, yes, two meows, no. I mean, something you could... I mean, blink, damn it.
Poor Rook is like, I don't even know what to respond. I don't know what to say. I can't understand what you said to me. This guy, he show up, he understand everything you said. I don't know what's going on. I don't speak tiger. Can you like do something? Let me know what's happening. Are you happy? Are you hungry? What? She's just so confused, and she always apologizing when she feel like she out of line.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, forgive me. Yeah, I'll be like, how about this? You're a tiger. You protect me. Even a man with a gun couldn't beat a tiger. That's not even a fair fight.
You saw the part where they were attacking, like the guys were attacking, they were hunting her down, And she got like, oh my gosh, can you go stop that guy? Stop him right now. And that's when she realized, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be ordering you around. Forgive me, my queen. I'm sorry. It's not your job. It's my job. It's like, no, help me. Stop that dude.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. But I mean, I understand they had to play the whole love story out. But I guess we have to end this part of the podcast. So I would have to say, for my verdict, I would recommend this. I think it's a good look. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good read. It's definitely interesting and definitely slightly intriguing. But I would say let this one simmer for a while and check back and read it in droves. But it's good for collecting if that's what you're into, because the covers, oh man, they're nice. Everything you can tell. The people, they're really dedicated to the art. The art. We just need more writing. So, Ms. Connors, what would you think? Would you recommend this? What's your final verdict?
Again, like same as you, I will wait for it to build up for sure. I would not jump right into this at the point where it's at now. I think the last chapter I read was chapter 8 or 9. And then like it leaves you kind of like waiting. So there's no new material out yet. So I would definitely come back after a year or so, after I got a few chapters together, and check it out for sure. If they give more story. The beginning is super slow. Too slow to stay involved, in my opinion.
Well, there you is. You heard it from us. About to take a break. Then we're going to get back to our review of Carole and Tuesday. Blerd up. 1 second. We'll be back, y'all.
My daddy's podcast is called Hyphenation. It's the world's greatest podcast. Barack Obama approved. On Hyphenation, my daddy talks about all kinds of cool things. And sometimes I'm on the podcast too. Sometimes he has his friend Marcus on. Sometimes he stays up really late and he's tired the next day. But it's worth it. But he loves his podcast and I love his podcast. So I really want you to listen to Hyphenation so daddy doesn't get sad. He really doesn't get sad though because he has me. Oh wait, please listen to Hyphenation. Thanks y'all. I love the podcast, so please try to join. But if you know him.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can we hear it now?
It's a podcast called Fresh, and you better not let that door slam.
Don't call it a comeback. It's your boy Maps, Doc. Podcast called Fresh. The best podcast you ever heard of. And if you haven't heard this is the best podcast you never heard of. We're bringing in the ass end of our episode. And with our second review, let me say this right now. I'm glad that my homie Doc was here. For me to review this, you can call it toxic masculinity if you want to. I had no excuse to watch this, and I couldn't have watched and reviewed this and talked to anybody about this other than her. It was May. That's why I almost begged her. Because, she was the only person who knew, I'm not going to say I'm a man shit. But I low-key love the fuck out of some Sailor Moon. And, and she was, the only person who didn't shame me for that. Oh, that's cool, And so I appreciate that. And, with this Carole and Tuesday, I hate to say this, and I don't use this often, and this will probably be the only time I say this when she's on the episode. This anime is really cute. And I like it.
All right. That's fair. It is very, very sweet and it's very cute.
It's just I don't love it. I'm not oh my god, I'm losing my mind, but it's just very sweet. And I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about it. It's I like the music. I like how one of the main characters is black. It's a lot of black people in there. I like a lot of the songs on there. And it's just, I don't know. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Doc. I'll just jump in between whatever you will. What are your reviews or thoughts on Carole and Tuesday?
All right. First and foremost, Sailor Moon kicks butt. All right, she fights and she kills and she don't care. Okay, moving on. Carole and Tuesday. My initial thought is it's very sweet. It's very cute. It gets you emotionally involved with the characters. You follow the story of two young girls who've never met before, but instantly become best friends and bond over their love of music. Now, it's set in, I don't know how far in the future, but it's, there's life, they've colonized Mars, and their biggest draw every year seems to be music via, an American Idol type kind of show. which is so weird. And that's the vibe I got. Is like, if you ever watched American Idol, I watch a lot of TV. I'm a consumer of television. I've been like my mom said when I was a baby, when I was babysat, the person that they would just sit me in front of the TV, and that was it. And just leave me there, and that's all I did.
Oh, us 80s babies.
Yeah. So that being said, I did watch American Idol, and I remember the first time I watched American Idol, you went on the journey, you were with the singers, you wanted them to win, you picked your favorite, and that was it. That's kind of what Carole and Tuesday is. You fall with you beat these girls. They're the only like few people out there still making music with actual instruments. Everybody has turned to like using computers and everything, and it's kind of like a bit of a reflect on what's going on nowadays with the way the music is going in the industry.
Yes.
And initially, like I said, I told him like when you first watch it, like the feeling I got, I love the White Stripes. I've followed their career for like a long time up to their end, and I felt like a lot of their songs made me feel like it's a song by them called "The Little Room." If you've never heard the song "The Little Room," it says when you're in the little room and you start doing what you love to do, eventually you're going to need a bigger room. But when you get to the big room, never forget what you did in the little room. That's what that's their story is kind of like.
True.
And a lot of artists, even one of the artists, I can't think of his name, when it went to the what's his name? When it went to the festival, he told them to say, "Look, I love what you guys are doing. Don't forget what you're doing. Don't get big and forget what you're doing." Which seems to be a lot like with today's music. You know, they get big and they start to sound horrible. They just commercialize themselves and they just become just so it's just bad.
Yeah. I definitely feel you on that. And if it's even with art, hell, you look at old Dragon Ball and look at Dragon Ball Super now, and it's like everything loses its soul. But that's what happens with time. But I think you made a really good point. I like how, like you were saying, their niche was like, what do? We play real instruments and we write songs, and how like everything else there is done by AI. And it's kind of dope because it's like you were saying, it's telling you the future almost, how music can be, and how they had this one girl, I want to say her name was Andrea. What was I forgot the other, the rival. This other girl she was singing, I forgot her name. And she was like a model. Angela, that's what it's Angela. Thank you. And she's a model. And she was like, she's supposed to be so bad. Like, I'm done with modeling. I'm just going to hop into singing because I'm that bad. Which is kind of mirroring how things work now. And how it was dope that I thought how they made it that I didn't like her at first. And it was like, oh, I thought she was faking after they did all that stuff. And they had this machine tuning her up, having her sing, stretching her body and all this and that. But then later on, it's even like, it's pretty much, she's the Vegeta to Carole and Tuesday's Goku, if you had to say. But it's like when the time comes and when she gets there, when they get to the end of like the American Idol. Which, side note, I like the fact that all the other songs are almost as catchy and good as the main Carole and Tuesday songs. But once they get to the part, it's like all the songs are good. I like them. And also shout out to the Mermaid people, because that was my song. Fucking bullshit.
They were robbed. They should have been to the finals. I love the song. Everybody loves the song. I wonder if there's a soundtrack. I'm going to look it up because it's a whole song. I definitely want to listen to it.
Oh, we're going to find it. After this, I'm going to find it for you. I promise.
It is a model for life.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit.
Oh my gosh, that was great. But you're correct. The songs are very, very catchy. I'm interested in listening to more GGK. I want to hear what she has because that was awesome. I love her little songs. They were like floaty, ethereal, and it took you a place. I even like the French girl song, the crazy one. I liked her song. That was nice.
Oh, you talking about Psycho Chick, man? Even that's another thing that I like. That like for me, I would never watch. Like I said, it was like, oh, there's no violence in here. I'm not gonna watch this. And I was watching it as I'm editing audio, and this is how I know it was interesting because I stopped looking at my computer. I'm watching it like, no, Tuesday, don't give her your number. It's all the classic signs. And we was talking about it on Facebook.
Man. And
it's just, yeah, even that, how she messed her up, and it's like, I care, like, how are they gonna double back from this one? Okay, and then like, and it's just everything, it was predictable, but not cheesy. That's the thing I like. It was not cheesy. As a father of 4 daughters, other than all the crazy stuff, if it was toned down, that's something I could watch with my girls. It wouldn't be cheesy. But Also, I love the animation. But back to you, Doc.
Yeah, the animation is actually very nice. I love the way they use lighting in there. You could tell at some points, again, like for animators that are into animation, you could tell at some points where they get like those 3D puppets in there. You could tell, like during the performances, a lot of 3D puppets are in there, and it's kind of it's almost like rotoscoping as well in a way, which is another detail I can't I don't want to explain because I don't want to take your time.
No, go ahead, blurt out, go ahead.
Okay, well, rotoscoping is when they draw over images. If you can actually do this with your own camera, if you ever have free time, you take like a series of images, and you can take it into somewhere, and you can draw over the images and animate from there.
Message.
And you can tell with a lot of the singing, that's a lot of those puppets are in there doing that, which is but the animation for the most part for the non-puppet parts are really nice. It's really fluid. The running scenes and all that stuff is really nice.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that. So was that like was that would they use that when the YouTube dude was singing, right? Because that dude was dancing his ass off.
Oh, is it Piotr?
Yeah, I think so.
He was, and that's one of the ones you could tell it when Angela. You could definitely see it when Angela sings. A lot of rotoscoping there, but it's like it's okay. You get it. Like I say, for the industry, you could tell they have to kind of do that stuff to save money. It hurts the art a little bit, but they do it to save money. I get it, and I'm gonna have to let it go because it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, we're old heads, man. We're the only one. Like, people don't draw by hand no more. Whatever happened to that shit?
They need a huge budget for it. That's what happened to it.
Yeah, they need a huge budget, and people need. And then when you draw it by hand, as much as like me and Doc were talking on Facebook, and I always talk about that stuff. Like, I love fluid motion animation and stuff. Like, you look at the old Akira, and the amount of detail they put in, just like the fact that they hand painted every window that had a light on. And everything, but then as great as it is, you look at it like, yeah, it took like 10 years for like a hour 30-minute movie to come out. So it's like, I get both sides, but it's like, I'm a stickler for animation, but it's like almost at some points it almost seemed like the animation was all just a drawing was a little bit reminding me of like Samurai Champloo, just a little bit. Not saying it's on the same par, but just put me in the mind of that. Or maybe it was just me.
I don't know. That is a tough one. I went. Samurai, they had all hand-drawn animation. That studio, and it's a shame to this day, in my heart, I feel bad for them. That studio got shut down a few years ago. I don't see how with the work they were doing, I swear. But I wouldn't say more like, it was kind of fluid. I don't know. I would have to watch it again to see that. I don't think it was that fluid. They had some pretty good art.
No, not that, by no means that fluid. No, I was just saying, but it was I just liked it. It was kind of nice like that. And also, I think that, so I hate the fact that I think it's something up with old girl Angela's mom, and I'm interested to watch more to figure out what's part of that story there.
Yeah, because they showed like a flashback picture when she did a flashback in her mind. You can see that the mom was apparently, I guess, the dad, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, the guy, her producer Tao, he said that he did some research. If I don't know if you remember that part, and he said the only reason you look effeminate is because of Mars's atmosphere. So I don't know if the atmosphere had anything to do with the change or if it was a choice. I'm not quite sure. Again, I'm with you. I gotta watch it to figure out what happened there. Was it a choice of his own or her own? I'm sorry, or what happened? I don't know.
I also thought it was pretty cool how like just I like the episode where they got the crappy AI and they did all. And I hated the fact that the episode was feel good and made me smile. And I'm downstairs in my man cave, watching this shit with a smile on my face, leaning forward, watching TV like, oh, what's gonna happen next? I'm like, ain't this some bullshit? But I enjoyed it.
You have those like guilty pleasure animes, I like to say. The main stuff you want to watch. Then you turn around and watch that and stuff in secret. Don't want anybody to know that's what you're watching. That part was definitely for humor. And personally, I actually liked the little music video. I thought it was cool. It reminds me of like a lot of it's like an independent video. That's what it was. And if you're into like the lo-fi kind of sound or, again, it reminded me of the White Stripes. It wasn't serious. It wasn't like high tech or anything. It was cool. It was like, okay, yeah, this is their song. This is the video. It doesn't really make sense.
We're going to have to end our episode here. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened during the recording process. I don't know if it's how we did it or whatever happened. There was literally about a good 40 minutes of extra audio of just me and Doc talking and going back and forth. Really good shit. But it got cut. And truth be told, a lot of this shit audio from this episode got fucked up. That's why I don't know if you guys have peeped or not. The quality is slightly lower than what I would call quality, and I apologize for that. But after many hours in the studio, my man, Kale Conley, he had Raul in the studio doing the best he can mixing. Raul said, fuck it. He left. I had to come in here, mix this down because I'm dedicated and, I love y'all and this is what I do for my people. So I came in, did what I had to do. This is what we have. So I want to thank y'all for listening. Also want to thank Andrea Connors and welcome her to the podcast called Fresh Team. She will serve as our anime Blerd and The Fire Rises. So on behalf of myself, Doc, and Kale, thank you for listening to a podcast called Fresh. And remember, just because you live in this world doesn't mean you have to exist in this world. Blerd up.
On dial-up, I was quite pissed.
I didn't know they still had dial-up.
Nigga, I didn't either. I was like, oh my god. When I seen him putting that in, I'm like, what the hell is that for? I'm not getting the phone. He was like, oh no, this is for the internet. I'm like, you about to get 50 cents carrying this bitch? Oh yeah. He's like, oh no, it's high speed. I'm like, but high speed that goes into the wall though.
It's funny, I know when I first got the Comcast set.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. This has been a Hyphen Podcast Network production.
They're the bestest. I'm getting paid at exposure.